Yep.
Hi, I'm just going to talk you through the Post-16 Home Learning Pack. This is Pack 2, and there's some instructions here, and it's all about the sort of skills that we're looking for. Now, E1, E2, E3, Level 1 and Level 2 refers to the level of maths someone's doing. So that's sort of for our reference, really. If we're using this stuff back in school as evidence, then it's quite helpful. What you'll find as we go along, activity that are in green means everyone should be able to do them. If there's a blue, it means most people can do them, and a purple means some people can do them. So just progress through as far as you can go. So first activity, just want you to label the coin. Second activity, think about how many coins you need to make £1. And then we've got the third activity, we're adding amounts. So you can use a calculator for this, or if you want to test yourself, go without a calculator and use the calculator after to find the answer. So we've got some different activities around adding actual prices from shops. And then we've got some things where we're going to be working out some percentages. For those of you who've done percentage before, we don't want to stretch yourself because we have discounts in shops that are a percentage. We've got an activity there. Okay, moving on then. Again, this link so you have an idea about the sort of skills that you might be looking for. Label the notes this time. Think about different coins to make £1. Some other activities for you to add together there, different amounts here. And then the final thing, again, we're looking at is a different discount. So this time it looks like you're looking at a 20% discount of each item. So you work that out. Okay, then we have got the answers. Now I am trying not to put all the answers in because then we can use some of the evidence in class in case you're missing stuff in lessons. Another activity, how can you make £3 this time, 50p? Longer amounts to add together. Remember, use the calculator if you need to, or do it by hand and then check with the calculator. Then we've got a 25% discount, so you're working out a percentage and subtracting for this one. And then finally, we're looking at multiples of different amounts. And again, you do have the prices, the answers there if you need them. Moving on to lesson 5. So we're taking away some of the pictures now, make it a bit more challenging. Think about how many coins are in each amount there. And then we've got the different answers for your questions. There, we've got some activities here again, looking at multiples of different amounts. We're then looking at ordering money and rounding money. So for example, 4.87 is nearly £5, so you could round it up to £5. £1.29, that's nearer to £1 than £2. Done this sort of stuff in lesson this term, so you go back to that if you need it. And then again, we're doing some rounding, and we're rounding up some amounts for prices and lists of things this time. And then once you've got that, we're doing some calculating change. So again, use a calculator if you need to, or work it out and then test with a calculator. If you want, we've got a few money games, so you can cut this out and then put different amounts on there, follow the instructions for the game. We've then got some slightly more challenging questions if you want to. Often when we're looking at exams, although you don't do an exam, but it's a good test anyway, they will put the maths questions within the little story. So that's what we've got there for you to read through and then see if you can work out what you need to do. Then we're going to move on to English. Now the English for this 2-week pack is looking at people that are inspirational and also looking at the people who our new tutor rooms are named after. So you've got some information about Thomas Edison here. So you can have a little bit of reading. There's some key words, there's some short story information, and as you can see, when we move down, we've got some activities here which are different questions, slightly more tricky activities in the purple, if you remember. Then lesson 2, again, we're looking at some keywords and definitions, just like you see in a dictionary. We also got some more questions for you to go back to the information on Thomas Edison and read some more questions here. The first lesson you were doing a lot of reading, so we didn't want to do too many questions for that one. If you want to, there's some extra activities for you to research as well. Then on day 3, we're looking at Tajiri, again, another name for one of the tutor groups. This time we're looking at quotes, so you can have a look at the quotes rather than the longer work. There is some longer information here, so lots of practice for reading on this particular day. If you're getting stuck on words, ask people at home or ask them to read and you can listen. It depends on your ability. Lots of information there. I imagine you've heard of Pokemon, and he's the inventor of Pokemon, so that's why we're looking at him. Then you've got some activities, so jotting down some notes from all of that reading that you've done. But a bit of a fun activity is to create your own Pokemon and write a detailed description for those of you who are feeling happier at writing sort of longer amounts. Then we've got lesson 4. Okay, this is going back to all that information onto jury and finding the questions. So reviewing what you've read and answering some questions. Lesson 5, we're looking at some inspirational people close at home. This is a newspaper article this time, so a different type of writing again. Again, use a lesson to read it. Then use a lesson to ask questions. The questions get harder as you progress down. Green for everyone, blue for some people, purple. A few of you should be able to answer those. Discuss them with people at home if you need to. Then we've got some information about Helen Keller. This is written as a list rather than a newspaper or quotes. Again, read the information or have someone read it to you. Then you've got questions at different levels, some questions for everyone, some for some people and some for a few, looking at that level 1, level 2 grade. That is the equivalent to a GCSE, so these are harder questions. And then we've got another one. Now this is one that you might have looked at in school as well. So again, it's a newspaper article. It's about someone very close to home. Doing the reading, that will be a good English skill, but then doing the questions, which are increasing in difficulty, will help you think about that article a little bit more. And our final lesson of the week about inspirational people looks at people from around the world and different periods of time. Some of these aren't alive anymore. So have a read through these and then write some information about those people there. We're then moving to the last part of the pack, which is about all the other topics. So starting off with independence. Now being independent is about eating the right foods. So you'll see we've got some information about salt and fat, and we're looking at what sort of the right foods that we should be eating. There's some activities here that you can look at. Want you to look at the traffic light system, so which are the foods which are healthier or less healthy. So you'll be looking at green means it's more healthy, red means it's less healthy. So picking out the items that are better or worse for you. We've got lots of options here, so you can choose between plain peanuts and honey roast, which has the most reds or the most oranges. And then we're looking at our other activity here is we're looking at employability. So this week, the first thing is we're looking at all the different jobs within the hospital. Now you could go online for this, but otherwise, if you can't, I've printed off the key information here. So if you work in a hospital, it's not just nurses. We've got gardeners. We've also got, if we move on, the skills that a gardener would need, and then some information you can write down about what you'd need to do as that job. Then we've got a window cleaner in a hospital. Think about all those windows in a hospital. Someone's got to clean them. So this talks about the sort of job that you would have to do if you're a window cleaner, the entry requirements, the skills you need, and then some written activities to think about whether that would be a job that you could do. Then we've got another activity. We're looking at linen services. Lots of people sleeping over in hospitals. Someone's got to clean all those beds, all the washing. So people that like organisation and orderly things might enjoy this job. Have a little read through it, see what it's about, find out what you need to do that job, and then think about some of these questions here. And then the final one, we've got the domestic services staff, which covers everything from health centres and cleaning and keeping things hygienic. So lots of skills there again. Have a look. Is it something that suits what you're interested in? What sort of things would you need to do? Most of these actually say there's no set entry requirements, which suggests that you'll get the training when you're there if you've got the motivation or experience. And that's why we keep pushing people to do work placements in school, because you get work placement in school, it will help your jobs in the future. Okay, finally coming on to PE then. I've got some 7-minute activities here that you can follow. We've also got some dancing activities. Dancing is very good for you. So if you don't know if you're not sure about some dance moves, we've got some ones here. We're missing the Children in Need disco this year, so you could have your own one at home. Lots of different moves that you can practice. But if you don't like that, I've got some activities, sort of fun things you can do at home. So using old tins to knock down, using old box if you're ordering stuff from Amazon to chuck things in the box. Do a bit of football, golf outside if you fancy it. You can make a target with a hula hoop, or you could just use your cushion, or use whatever towel on the floor to aim towards is fine. And then finally, we've got some extra activities here. The idea is in school, we try not to do worksheets all the time and make it more real. So what I've suggested is for the maths, make things a bit real. Look at the clocks around your house and see if you can try and read those clocks. Get someone to help you. In terms of English, talk to people on the phone about who they are inspired by, who they're impressed by, because English is also about talking and communicating. For education, learning and work, we talked about different jobs in hospitals. What about the people that live near you, or your friends or family? Again, if you're isolating, you can talk on the phone. Talk to them about their jobs. What do they enjoy? How did they get into it? Is that something you'd like to do in the future? It is really important to keep those relationships going when you're at home. So think about the sort of places that you would like to see people, maybe places you could visit when you leave. And then we're looking at independent housing, thinking about how maybe one day you want to move out and live on your own. So we could look at, are there things you can do yourself? For example, making your own breakfast, cleaning your own teeth. And then also we've got planning for good health. If you needed to, would you know how to contact a doctor or GP? And would you know whether you go to the hospital, the doctor or the pharmacist if there was something wrong with you? Have a chat to people at home about those things. Okay, that's number 2 for you. If you have any questions, then do contact the school. Thank you very much.